Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to McAdee's Entertainment. I'm your host as always, Adam McGahee. We are back once again as we dive into the gory goodness of the Marvel Zombies line of comics. In our last video, we covered the full gory story of the jugular-eating giant, Zombie Juggernaut. I will have that video linked in the title card and the description below. In today's video, we'll finally be going over the entire saga of the mangled meat-eating master of magnetism, Zombie Magneto. Being one of the biggest players in the Marvel Zombies storyline across multiple dimensions, I am so glad to finally be covering this gruesome story of the iconic X-Men villain. His story is definitely a longer one, so without further ado, cozy in and grab your finest chess set, sit back, relax, and enjoy the full gory story of Zombie Magneto. Who is he? Magneto, like everyone else from his dimension, came face to face with a deadly alien virus that turned them into blood-hungry savages. He comes from Earth 2149, but his mutant origins pre-infection were very similar to that of his main universe counterpart from Earth 616. Of course, that all changed one bad day when a zombie version of the Sentry came to Earth and tore through the Avengers, infecting them with the virus. Transforming almost immediately, the zombified heroes then dashed through the city streets, completely consuming any poor human who got in their way. While the origins of the virus are quite mysterious, we get a bit of a deeper look under the veil as we see our boy Magneto aboard his ship Asteroid M. Looking upon the carnage on Earth from his monitors, the mutant expresses deep regret to his right-hand man, Fabian Cortez. It is here that we found out good old Mags had made a deal with an unnamed being to allow the zombified Sentry to come to Earth, thinking this virus would only kill humans, allowing mutants to reign free, only to discover that the plague affected both parties the same way, thus dooming the planet. Feeling absolutely horrible that he had unleashed hell on Earth, Magneto prepared his shuttle to head back down to the planet so he could help save who was left and hopefully right his wrongs. So guys, cool as Magneto is, he's kinda to blame for this whole thing. This is one bad guy plan that went a little too far. Upon arriving to the planet, Max witnessed the disease's effects firsthand when he came across his fellow rivals, the X-Men, battling an infected Alpha Flight on the ground of Professor Xavier's school. Having discovered that his longtime friend Charles Xavier had been ripped apart by the hordes, Magneto wasted no time as he summoned the closest pieces of nearby metal he could find and then whipped them into the heads of the infected Alpha Flight members, killing them right on the spot. The Magnetic Master then informed his former enemies that now was not the time to show compassion and that it was either kill or be killed. Wolverine then called the dude out for talking to them like this and asked just what he was doing here. Magneto then responded that he saved their lives and that they must now repay the favor by joining him in the fight to save who they could. Putting their differences aside, the mutants then joined together in the streets as they took the fight to the hungry hordes. Eventually, Nick Fury gathered the likes of Magneto and the other non-infected heroes he could find aboard the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier so they could strategize on how to end this threat once and for all. Scientists like Tony Stark and Reed Richards were charged with finding a cure and a way out of this dimension, while Magneto was tasked with helping lead the assault on the undead in the streets below and rescue survivors. Hard as they fought though, the heroes were soon overrun, being either killed or infected, causing Magneto and a small group of remaining supers to retreat. Having failed in their mission, Magneto would go into hiding as the infection spread worldwide, causing the vast majority of the Earth's population to be devastated. Prior to the virus becoming a pandemic, Tony Stark was working on a teleporter that would allow the non-infected to escape to an alternate world. While things would look hopeful for the living once Tony completed the machine, Reed Richards would pick now of all times to go crazy after losing his children to an uninfected She-Hulk. He would then infect his fellow Fantastic Four members, who in turn infected him. The now Frightful Four would then tear through the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, where they would infect Tony and set their starving sights on the teleporter and get access to the multiverse. However, Nick Fury had other plans where he wheeled the device to the back of the facility where he sealed off the doors. Meeting up with a few of the heroes who had regrouped with Magneto from the battle below, Fury then had Thor destroy the machine to lock these hellish beings in this dimension to starve. Thor then obliged and brought the wrath of Asgard down on the machine, but not before Reed and the rest got through the room, infecting everyone present. Not about to let some wrecked multiverse portal ruin his hungry little day, Reed then had the zombies bring the remaining parts of the device back to his lab, where he would work on repairing it. He would then manage to fix it to the point where he would be able to use it to communicate with a younger version of himself from the Ultimate Dimension, who he managed to trick into coming to the Zombieverse. Upon setting foot in this wasteland, young Reed quickly realized he was catfished, where he was immediately attacked by the zombified Fantastic Four. Barely escaping with his life, young Reed managed to get away to the nearby sewers. Thinking he was in the clear, our boy was sadly mistaken, where he was met by a whole harem of hungry heroes. Before they could turn Reed into a living Lunchable, the zombie supers were then terrified to see today's forecast, which consisted of an entire city block's worth of cars floating in the skies above. The auto assault came raining down, exploding upon the zombies, killing and injuring several in the process. The attack is then revealed to have come from our boy Magneto, who had saved poor Reed, all while looking extra yoked and handsome. Hey, apocalypse or not, Magneto is definitely not skipping leg day. Upon saving the young scientist, Max then takes the young Reed to the subway, where he introduces him to a small group of survivors who he managed to save from the zombies. I mean, it's like 3 people, but still counts for something. Upon noticing that this Reed looks a lot like his world's Reed Richards, although a bit younger and not a zombie, Magneto asked the dude what his deal was, where he then revealed that he was in fact Reed from another world. Knowing that the multiverse portal was still open, Magneto and the gang then hatched a plan to escape with Reed back to his home dimension and finally be free of this hellish world once and for all. As they hatched their master plan though, the not-so-lucky peeps were sniffed out by Zombie Wolverine, where he then relayed the information to the boys, who busted through the subway walls, ready to help themselves to some fresh eats. Saving this in his back pocket for an awesome moment like this, Magneto then used his powers to pick up one of the old subway trains, which he then tossed at the Horde, knocking them out of commission. Hey man, undead or not, you get whacked with a full-on subway train, you're definitely going to be feeling that one in the morning. Upon getting outdoors, the gang would not be faring much better, as they were greeted by an entire legion of undead supers. Ready to fight like a true man though, Magneto prepared to fight to the death, until he and the others realized that the zombies had suddenly become blinded. That is revealed to have been the work of Ultimate Susan Storm, who made her way to this Earth with the other Ultimate Fantastic Four members who came to save their Reed. Using this distraction, Magneto and the gang then made their way to the teleporter, where they planned to escape. As they prepped their trip, the mutant leader opted to stay behind, for if they were to all leave together, it would leave the dimensional doorway open to the super zombies. Max then has the Fantastic Four and the remaining humans go through, while he pulls the coolest, most dramatic hero move yet, where he uses his power to blow the machine up, frying countless undead in the process, and locking them out of the multiverse. Upon waking up from the destruction, Magneto then exclaims his excitement at his plan working, only for that excitement to turn to pure terror as he found himself surrounded by a gang of angry and rather hungry supers. Ready to gobble the dude up out of revenge, the starving supers told the mutant to give up, only for him to be as cocky as ever, telling the zombies that he still had plenty of fight left in him. The mutant then channels some big villain energy as he summons a swarm of metal all around him and tosses it into the horde, tearing into their nasty necrotic flesh. Max then takes to the skies and attempts to escape, only to be relentlessly pursued by the likes of Zombie Spider-Man and Colonel America. The lucky Cap managed to grab hold of Magneto, thinking he was about to get a snack, only for him to grab the hero's shield and used it to slice his head in half. Arguably, one of the most disgusting, yet iconic panels from Marvel Zombies, and I absolutely love it. Armed with Cap's shield, a weakened Magneto made his way to the streets below. Keeping an eye out as he tried to make his escape, Max gets a message from his followers aboard Asteroid M, confirming that they were still alive and awaited his return. Vowing to find a way back to his people, Magneto tried to get to the sewers, only to be spotted by Zombie Hawkeye. Ready to claim his prize, Clint fired his arrow at Mags, only for him to shoot Cap's shield at the exact same moment. This Texas-style draw resulted in Magneto being struck in the side with the arrow, while poor Hawkeye was sadly decapitated. Hey, you tried, man. In the commotion, Cap managed to get his shield back, only for Max to use his power to slam Steve through a skyscraper, lodged Hawkeye's arrow through Thor's throat, and brought the rest of the building down upon Giant Man and the others. Seeing how awesome his savagery was, Magneto decided to take the time and gloat about how cool he was, only for Zombie Wasp to sneak up from behind and bit his neck out. Hey man, you want to go and emote once you get a kill, that's fine, but you gotta make sure coast is clear before you do. Being immobilized from the chonky bite, Magneto, still being cocky, wished that the zombies would choke on him. Fighting over who got the first piece of mutant meat, Thor barged through proclaiming that the man was his, only for Hulk to prove he was the true alpha by jumping into the battle where he ripped the poor dude's leg right out of its socket. Upset that he broke a snack, Hulk had to jealously look on and munch on his Magneto rotisserie leg while the other heroes helped themselves to a magnetic buffet. RIP Magneto, even though this was kinda your fault, you went out like a true G. Magneto stays one of the GOATs of Marvel Zombies. Despite Earth 2149 Magneto being completely devoured before he could turn, there is a universe in which the Master of Magnetism is allowed to complete his transformation into his disgusting flesh-eating form. This Magneto comes from Earth 13264, which is a variant of the original Zombieverse of Earth 2149. Once Dr. Doom had gotten the powers of a god, he took this world and renamed it the Deadlands, which was part of Battleworld during the events of Secret Wars. During this time, heroes from different dimensions were sent to these different lands to fight like they were real-life action figures, getting played with in a cosmic toy box. In the Deadlands, these Marvel zombies were at constant war with Ultron and his legions, who sought to rid this Earth of all impurities. These impurities, of course, being these nasty flesh-eating zombies. However, soon becoming aware that he was a puppet in God Doom's Game of Fate, Ultron decided to cut his strings once again. It is here that he comes face to face with this Earth zombie Magneto, who was the leader of the zombie armies. The groups agreed that the only way to win was to put their differences aside and join forces so they could take over Battleworld. Zombies working with robots to take over the universe? Y'all are speaking my language. Prior to their alliance, both forces had tried their hardest to attack the human settlement called Salvation, which was run by Wonder Man, Vision, and Jim Hammond's Human Torch. However, due to the energy shield the heroes had around the settlement, neither group was powerful enough to get in. Being the tenacious Tin Man that he was, Ultron refused to give up and studied the shield's ionic energy and discovered that if he combined his robotic army with the flesh of the Marvel zombies, they would be strong enough to break the shield and take the settlement over. More than happy to get a camp full of tasty humans to eat, Magneto agreed to let his forces fuse with Ultron's army, becoming disturbing zombie robot hybrids. The army then stormed the settlement and attacked the shield, much to the shock and horror of Vision and the others. As the boys attacked, Ultron and Magneto watched on and asked each other what emotions that they were feeling at this time. Ultron went on to give a great dissertation on him being a machine, yet was able to feel a wide range of emotions, while Magneto simply expressed that he was excited at all the people he was going to eat. Straight to the point, man. I'm with you. While all seemed doomed for the humans, an Old West variant of Hank Pym was here to help the heroes at this time. He used his intellect to reverse engineer the ionic shield generator's power to absorb Ultron's hive mind. Vision, Wonder Man, and Iron Cross then sacrificed themselves to fly into the energy and combined into one unified hive mind themselves that would override Ultron's brain, thus allowing them to become the new Ultron that controlled Magneto and the other robot zombie hybrids. Remote-controlled zombie robots? Dude, sign me up! I want one! And that is the full gory story of Zombie Magneto. This was certainly a wild one, and I'm hyped to have finally covered it for you all. Magneto is definitely one of the coolest and most complex Marvel villains, and it was great getting to see this more heroic side of him willing to save humanity in the story of Earth 2149. It's a shame that he died, as I would have loved to have seen our boy pull through, but it was great getting to see the variant of him rise from the grave in the Battleworld storyline. While Michael Fassbender has been our most recent on-screen rendition of the iconic mutant, he is yet to make his debut in the MCU. Once he inevitably does though, I certainly hope he is a main player again in the Marvel Zombies TV show. I mean, how do you do a Marvel Zombies show without Magneto? Come on, Disney! More than anything, I want to hear what you think. Did you know this about Zombie Magneto? Was there something I missed? What other stories would you like to see us cover? Sound off in the comments. Also be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed today's content, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon to be notified of all of our latest videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the music in this video, it was all made by my boy Agnes. You can check out his Spotify in the link below. You can also check out our Patreon, also in the link below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you are awesome and loved. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.